folks, grab a seat and pour your drink neat as Whiskers and Whiskeys presents Tales of the Trophy, Season 5, Best of the Rest, the final episode of Season 5. I'm Mike with EJ. How's it going, pal?
Oh, it is the final episode here. Final episode for trophies. We will
Yes.
have some other episodes here breaking down championship week. We'll probably need to revisit our lovely predictions, preseason predictions. And then obviously we'll have breakdown of the final playoff bracket
Yeah.
and those first round matchups. But
Maybe do
it's
something a little fun. I've been trying, I was noodling on that earlier. We've done jersey drafts in the past. That was a lot of fun, so maybe we can take a look and see. Do something a little fun and exciting.
Yeah, what we definitely need to do, whether it's this year or next, is like have a jersey draft, but solely Army and Navy, because they are just year after year
That's true.
just
They do
putting
come
out
out with
some
banger after banger. Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
combos, including
Yeah.
this year's.
Yeah, alternate uniforms would be pretty sick. Especially it's kind of hot in the street. There's this uniform reveals without context Twitter account that kind of just like posts pictures from like the clips that people here. Let me see what they got on deck right now. I think it's called. I think it's called. Let me see, because I want to give them. It's called No Context Unis at No Context Unis, and I mean their pin tweet is just. I think this is Louisiana Monroe, or is this Lehigh? Just pulling a helmet out of the water on a dock,
Oh,
like that's it's just kind of their whole thing. Um, well, some of them are pretty hilarious. Like here is I don't even know exactly who this is, but just sitting, I think that's Western Michigan, just sitting in the
it is
center of an ice rink right there, right? Center ice.
the
Uh
the national champions.
the national champions, there you go. Uh yeah, I mean they're all quite Fort A&M, just working behind a tree. So they're all just something. I is this Idaho State? Yeah, the Bengals just just chilling on a bridge. So yeah, it's a fun account. It's kind of hot in the streets. I've enjoyed. It's like one after another. Look at this. Dude's just pumping gas. Like, full uniforms, pumping gas. So yeah, it's good. Oh, here. We got a Hooters one. We
Oh,
got a Hooters one. Is that yeah, it's FAU, Florida Atlantic. Yeah. That's actually great. There's a lot going on there because you got the Hooters girls in the helmets.
yeah,
The one offensive lineman looks like he's ready to dive into some wings.
yeah.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff there. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, this last week we kind of had, I mean, it was a bit of a dull slate this last weekend. For Pick'em, it was even harder to pick.
Yeah.
But that was a necessary pain to set up this weekend. And what was the time that we are recording this? 9 o'clock on Tuesday. So unlike last week, we have the updated playoff brackets based on what happened last weekend. And truthfully, I wasn't expecting there to be any changes, and there was one change,
Hmm.
which I, I mean, obviously after my discussions last week, I'm definitely for this change.
Hmm.
But it was interesting. It was interesting that the committee decided to make this change. So I thought maybe we could just talk about the playoff rankings and then talk about rivalry weekend and what's at stake, and maybe like out of all of these rivalry games involving, we'll just say, the top 12 teams that are in this playoff bracket, like which ones are you most nervous about that'll lose, right? Like which ones are at like the highest risk of losing and potentially blowing up this
Or
bracket
maybe not even nervous about, excited about potentially. So
or excited about.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the one change, as you mentioned, yeah, they flipped Oregon, Ole Miss, which we had talked about, last week, like making the flip. It does. Um, it's interesting because of Ole Miss, right? I wonder if they made that change. Perhaps I don't know if it was because of Oregon's win last week, or if it was
Or
because perhaps the if Lane ends up leaving, that could be.
when
It is a bag. I mean, it's not so much a bag that he's getting, like that's a piece of it. It's the $25 million in commitment to like the NIL fund. That is, I think, very compelling. That's like, whoa, that's a lot of scratch right there. That's hard to turn down. I mean, the
yeah,
money's great, but like,
I saw someone kind of point this out. I can't remember. I wish I remembered where I saw it because I'd like to. It's the first time I've kind of seen someone actually like outline it this way, but it was just one of those things where I think everyone can agree, even myself, that like I'm sure Lane really wants to stay, right? Like it's not, he doesn't have a bad situation in Ole Miss. And while you can make arguments that Florida or LSU is better, I can understand, I can see an argument, even from his perspective, that maybe it's potentially not enough to want to leave. But as someone kind of pointed out, if you were to just remove like Ole Miss's current success and just say like Lane, which jobs would you want? Like if you were to just ask him flat out on an off season, like what would be your dream job? It's likely, LSU's probably likely in that conversation. And so it's such a tough situation for him
yeah,
because he has to weigh that like he might not ever get another shot at like this dream job, even though it's coming at like the worst possible time from the standpoint of like you have your other pretty good program at the top of its the top echelon of that program in the middle of a playoff run and potentially a national championship run. So it was just an interesting perspective of just like if it wasn't, it's just like a tough situation for him because it's like it makes a lot of sense for him to stay to see out this season to make a run at a national championship and potentially reload for next year, but at the same time it's like if you remove yourself and he always wants to be at the LSU or whatever the situation may be, like he's probably not going to get another shot. Like the
yeah,
likelihood that like, he's going to be the top candidate. There's not going to be other candidates that say no. Like there's a lot going for him to take this job. It's just like such a tough trick situation, which I think is why he hasn't just shot it down. Yes or
yeah,
no. Like that's
yeah.
also telling, right?
I
Like
I
that's
think
the other
that
key here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing why I was so bullish on him staying is that like this is a different Lane Kiffin than we've seen in the past. Like he's a totally different guy, like he uh you know uh, off red meat, off booze, does yoga, like he's reconnected with his kids. Like he's definitely like focused on he's kind of like figured himself out a little bit, like he's figured his life out a little bit. Um And I think he likes what he's building here, which is, and I think, and people have said like other reports are like that, like no one has come out and said Lane Kiffin has decided this. All the, inside reports are like, it seems like Lane Kiffin's not even sure what he's going to do yet, right? And I think that's very telling, right? That like he is weighing this very heavily. To your point, it's a premier program. It's a whole ton of money for him. It's a whole ton of money to build a program with a great brand name.
Yeah.
And I think it's a tough decision, but because I also think that he's, thinking back perhaps like I think he's confident enough in himself that he's not worried about like the situations at Tennessee and USC. Like, can I go and be the guy at a major program with like this extra pressure? Because if he stays at Ole Miss, they'll build a statue for him. Even if he
Right.
never wins a natty, like they'll like they'll never get rid of him. He's a premier coach for them. But there is a lot of pressure that comes to a program like LSU. And although you could say they showed a tremendous amount of patience to Brian Kelly, because I mean you knew from family that that wasn't going to work. So,
Yeah,
um, I think that I don't think he's worried about that as much. I don't know the man obviously, but I
sure.
do think from everything I've seen, the stuff about him that he is, like thinking like, wow, I got a good thing going here. He has some loyalty, I feel like. But when you get that much money, again, for him and for the program, that's a lot. I do think one of the most important things from this situation to consider, if you haven't, I encourage you. Did you see what Saban said on game day this
No.
week? I encourage folks to go watch that. The clip you can probably find. Um, Maybe we can even try to find it and post it on Instagram in our story. But like, he talks about how it's really unfair to the players, right? Because like, Saban was saying like in the NFL, if you fire your coach, you can't even talk to other coaches until a certain period in time, and that's in the playoffs, right? So like, it's very unfair to the players, the situation that they're in right now, because they've worked very hard to get to this point and they have a shot at national championship. Like, I'm sure they'd love for him to be able to finish out the season, right? But with the way the transfer portal is set up right now, the timing of that, the timing of national signing days and things like that, it's kind of impossible. So he was like, you know, you got to change national signing day timing. You got to change the transfer portal timing. Maybe even get rid of spring ball and do some OTAs in the early summer. And then, like look at it that way. And I think like that's the thing that needs to be looked at is like instead of, everyone debating over like, should we have 16 or 32 teams in the bracket? Like, let's take a look at what's best for the players in these types of situations so that like you can avoid this type of because it's super unfair to the players at Ole Miss if he announces on Saturday that he's leaving. Extremely unfair of them to not be able to have him, right? Like it would be great if it was a situation where it's similar to the NFL, right? Where like if you let go of a coach, you can't start talking to other coaches until, you know, the playoffs or something like that, and then you move back transfer portal, you move back sign day and stuff. It's just tough. Yeah, I mean, to your point in the quotes there, like yeah, I mean, there's gonna be tampering and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much that happens in the league and stuff, but I mean,
A ton.
yeah,
Right, because you also like, I mean, there's even arguments in the NFL on like when coaches should be allowed to interview, right? They are allowed to
hmm
interview, during the like during a bye week or, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, but then all of a sudden, as soon as they're done, they're announced as the head coach of another job, right? And it's like, well, hold on. You didn't have a bye week. Your team was in the playoffs all the way up until you just got eliminated, and now you're all of a sudden taking this job. So, it's that kind of thing.
right.
I guess it's like encouraging that the commit or college football has at least narrowed down the transfer portal to one, and I think they eventually will get there. I think everything you said is correct, but
It's
like,
not me. I'm parroting Saban.
right,
I'm parroting the goat. Which
it's all it's also just like the fact of the matter is they're worried about the playoff and not players because ultimately like they're worried about money,
yeah,
which is why we have 12 teams. So I have a bit of cynicism about like whether or not they're really gonna care at this point. Like eventually it will get fixed. But at the same time, they're probably more concerned about like how can we add more bowls, add more teams, add more
yeah. Well,
money.
yeah, sure. But that's why you need a commissioner of NCAA football.
Yeah.
And that's why that commissioner should probably be Coach Saban or someone like him, someone
Yeah.
who like he has shown time and time again throughout his time as a media personality that like even as a coach, he has, a great perspective on this new era, right? Like he doesn't want to deal with it himself because it's too much work and who knows if he would be willing to sign up for that commissioner job
Probably.
because
I don't think Miss Terry wants him.
Yeah, he seems like he's enjoying himself a
Yeah,
lot, but
yeah.
like,
But you're right. Someone like
yeah,
him, they it definitely needs to happen. Whether or not it could ever happen, I don't know the structure of like the NCAA. I'm so again just cynical of what
I
their
just don't know
ability
who
to
it
do
would be. I
things.
mean, because it's got to be him. Like, you look at some other prominent coaches out there who like you can't have like Brian Kelly do this.
It might not be a coach, right? If you
Yeah,
think of the NFL, system, there's a commissioner's office, and
sure, but
Goodell was a mailman that all the way moved his way up. So like it could end up being like a chancellor of a university because that's going well for all the playoff committee. I feel like it's more likely to be someone like that than it is
yeah,
like a
but
former coach, even
I
though it
would
probably
love if it
should be a
was a
former
coach who
coach.
like
Yeah.
really understands like he really understands it,
No, you're
like
making too much sense. Stop.
yeah,
That's not how this works. That's
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 fair.
that is not how
That's
NCAA
true. I should
works,
I
right?
should operate from a different place when
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah.
Let's see who's the person that can better. It's probably going to be like the Big Ten's commissioner because they were able to lock in, these TV rights and get these other schools like that. That's going to be the person that they're
Yeah.
going to think of, right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be the business aspect that they're probably going to want the focus
Totally.
on, not on the players, which,
Totally.
makes
No,
sense.
you're right. You're right. But, I will say the only other thing about the rankings that I think is the one piece of that didn't move that I hope changes after this week is you got to put Alabama above Notre Dame. Like you just at this point you have to, especially if they win the Iron Bowl. Like that's the only piece that makes me nervous because like if you don't put Alabama over Notre Dame and BYU beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, then you have a real problem for Alabama fans like me. Um, that's kind of my perspective on it. Like assuming everything, assuming the other, 8 teams from Ohio State to Oklahoma win, it's like Ohio State and Indiana in the Big Ten championship, that's fine. Texas A&M, Georgia SEC championship, whatever. Ole Miss wins, Lane stays. That's the only other thing is that like if Lane leaves, if Oklahoma loses this week, then it's a moot point, right? Or if Alabama loses this week, it's a moot point. But like if everything else stays, then BYU beats Texas Tech, now Alabama's first team out.
Yeah,
And I
I'm going to
just
tell you why it's not going to change. I can tell you 100% why it's not going to
because
change
it's Notre Dame,
because of Miami. So there should be zero reason why Notre
Miami's 12
Dame,
or
who
what?
has the same record as Miami, lost the head to head, plays no other. So you can't call strength of schedule, bullshit with Notre Dame when it comes to the ACC because they don't play anyone. They
Hmm.
play the ACC. There's zero reason why Notre Dame should be above Miami when it comes down to same record, same amount of losses, and one of those losses was a head to head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't want to deal with that, right? So that's why they said their argument is, well, they're too far away in the standings for us to take into account
And
head
that
to
Miami
head.
Notre Dame game was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
then that calls way too many questions if they drop Notre Dame to 10, because then people will be like, well, okay, what about this head to head with Miami?
Yeah.
Now again,
Yeah.
obviously Miami loses this weekend and whatnot, then it's a tricky
Well,
situation
it
for them.
also like Miami, like,
Is not in the ACC championship
no,
currently.
like not, and they need a lot of help to get there. Like they need, they need, they need a lot of help. They need to win and they need, you know, two out of Virginia, Pitt, and SMU to lose.
Well, they're playing Pitt head to head, so
Oh,
they
Pitt and
just
SMU
need
are head to head. Right, right,
no
right.
Pitt
Or
and
no.
Miami are.
Oh, Pitt might. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So they should, but you're right. They would need Virginia or SMU to lose their last game. But and that's where like even just talking through that is why this is also this is just in a weird spot because
Yeah.
you're right. Like if BYU wins, should like the playoff not having Alabama but including the list that's here is just it'd be nonsensical. So
Yeah.
you're right that now transitioning into these big games, and what can happen this weekend. There's a lot that can happen,
Yeah.
right? Like Tulane, if we even just start at the group of five, that's still so much in the air because while Tulane's not going to lose to Charlotte, they still need to win their American, and
Yeah.
they're playing North Texas now. And although their coach, which I think that's a great hire for Oklahoma
Great
State,
hire. Great
is
hire
going
for the
to see it
Cowboys.
through. Their school's going to see it through, or let him see it through the likely American championship conference or the American Conference Championship, and then if they were to beat Tulane in that, they're likely the front runner. I guess like JMU is probably the only other team that could make an argument. I guess I don't know. Do they have the rankings beyond Tulane? Complete rankings here. Let's see who's currently ranked. Of course, why would they have that? I'm just curious to see where they have those two, right? Where they have
Where
North
JMU
Texas and
is and North
yeah, in
Texas
the
are.
event
Yeah.
that Tulane loses, is there a chance that it's JMU has a chance, or will that win
Will it
over
automatically go to North
Tulane?
Texas? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just elevate North Texas. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, no. So it's like that's a place to start. That's crazy. Then you start talking. Yeah. So which one of these? So if we're looking at the current teams in the first round here, or I guess even just any round, what teams do you think have the largest likelihood to lose? Like who should be on upset alert? I suppose.
Who should be on upset? Well, Ohio State. I mean,
Okay.
I listen. I get it. But like, if Michigan won last year, like, and they had no business doing it. I mean, Ohio State's a much better team, but like they should. And Michigan being 15 is insane. But yeah, I mean, Ohio State should absolutely be on upset alert.
I have one that is I would my number one with a bullet on who is on upset alert. Although I will say I would have told you 4 days ago, no chance. Like, and it's not just me hating Michigan because I don't love Ohio State either. I would have told you zero chance that that game, that Ohio State is gonna lose that game. My hesitation now is it is going to be like 30 and snowing,
I was gonna say,
which
I'm pretty sure you did tell me 3 days ago that like there's no chance. But no, you think because it's 30 and snowing,
because the
that
one
changes
thing that
things.
I've said about Ohio State that would make me nervous for them to repeat is they don't run the ball well.
They
So then
don't.
if
That we
you're
talked
if
about this last week,
right.
actually. Yeah.
And if so, then if you're flipping this and you're like, okay, Michigan, your game plan is going to be the game plan that you've won on for 4 straight years. You don't throw the damn ball and you just run the fuck out of it and play defense.
Hmm.
And if you're Ohio State, you want to open it up because you can't run the ball, and but you can definitely beat this Michigan team throwing it. And now if that is severely limited and it's snowing and there's
Is that what the weather
turnovers,
forecast is?
yeah. Yeah, buddy. It's looking like a cold, very snowy day in Michigan, which I'm gonna be taking note to get the hell out of before because we're coming back on Saturday. Which actually also stinks because I'm not likely to be able to watch this game. I'll have to listen to it like I have the last few years. But yes. So now that has changed my perspective because that is probably the worst case scenario for Ohio State is to have a game where they have to run the ball.
Hmm.
So my number one with the bullet is A&M. So them having to travel
Yeah.
to Austin, that the way that the offense for Texas has looked, Arch has looked a lot better lately. Their
Except
defense
against
has been
Georgia.
good. This yeah, but that's just like saying Georgia, has looked better lately besides against Alabama.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Because guess what? A&M is in Georgia. So and
Yeah.
A&M has to travel on a road. It's one of the most heated rivalries that was absent for decade or like for what
Yeah.
a decade because of A&M moving to the SEC. It's back. It's probably the first time it's been in Austin, right? Since it's been back. Was last year the first year back and it was in College Station. So I just think like that. I don't even know what the line is, but if I'm a betting man, I'm probably taking the underdogs at home in that game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you're absolutely right there. I think also like it's November and it's Texas A&M football and you haven't lost a game yet. Like
Right.
you're way clock's ticking. You're way overdue.
Right.
Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia's been looking really good, but I think Georgia Tech is now in a position where they have nothing to lose, which is a very dangerous place to be. I think that they were looking past Pitt to this game. Um, at least for the first quarter, first half. So, most of the first quarter. So I think that's a big one. I mean, Tech plays West Virginia, Oregon plays Washington, Apple Cup, you never know. Ole Miss plays Mississippi State. That shouldn't be too much of a challenge. So Mississippi State's like,
Uh
I mean, they
okay, if you're giving me my rankings
wait,
on
hold on. What time's the game?
it's night.
Oh, well,
It's
never
Friday night.
mind. Nighttime and oh yeah, Friday night start
Oh no,
Vegas.
you're wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's Friday noon, not night. I
Well, okay. So I'm not nearly as I mean, it still is a big rivalry game and Mississippi State has played very well at times this year, but noon in Stark Vegas is a little different than nighttime in Stark Vegas. So,
but we just talked for 20 minutes on why this could be upset alert.
well, yeah, there's the whole lane thing too, but I also think these players are really going to want to bring their A game to. I mean, there's a lot of noise, yes, about the whole Kiffin thing, but like I feel like that these players are also going to show up to be like, don't go, like don't leave. Like we got a good thing going here. Um,
I if I'm a Rebels fan, I'm nervous because there's
yeah,
been 2 weeks. So you've had this bye week, which you would think would be a fantastic thing because then you can really properly prepare for your rival. You're not looking ahead to the playoff, which I love is like almost immediate, right? Like
hmm
there's barely any lagway between championship week, I guess. Like obviously some of these teams have to play in the championship, but like there's hardly any lag time, right? Like you have championship week, you have all Army Navy, and then it's the playoff, which is fantastic. So if you were a Rebels fan, you're thinking this is fantastic, right? We don't have to worry about overlooking our rival. We could just take care of business, get the highest ranking we possibly can, potentially make an SEC championship game, right? Because depending on the results of the Alabama and A&M and Georgia, like they're not out of making the SEC championship game, which is another feather in the cap. Could get a bye week, all sorts of things. I would be nervous the fact that it's like he hasn't said anything either way. That the AD has to be like, well, he's gonna make his announcement Saturday, or we're gonna talk about it. I just have a feeling if he leaves, it's clearly going to get leaked. It's clearly going to be something that, or he addresses, which could just be such a distraction. It's probably already a distraction.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I could see it going both ways. I could see
yeah.
your argument on like, we want to play for coach and this, or it could be like, fuck this dude. Like, why hasn't he committed to us? Like,
hmm
we're literally like on the
I see what you're
cusp
saying. Yeah,
of going to a championship, and the fact that he hasn't even said yes yet, like
yeah,
that, I'm staying. I'm fucking staying.
yeah,
I think that I don't think you can underrate that because
yeah.
then
You
you
can
start to
understand
think
it.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, where the fuck am I going? Am
yeah,
I staying here if Lane's not here? Who the fuck's going to take over? Like then
yeah,
you start to think about these other players like if he's leaving, why the
yeah,
hell else why am I staying?
yeah,
So, I don't know. I just think that that is tricky, and the fact that like Bulldog it's a rivalry game. It's on the road and the
yeah.
Bulldogs would love nothing more than to beat them and have been too close in too many games this goddamn year. And they can
Oh,
score too. I don't know, man.
they'd love to be the ones to drive Lane
Yeah,
out of Oxford for sure. Yeah,
I think that makes me that game in Starkville has more of an upset alert to me than Georgia playing at a neutral site against Georgia Tech.
sure, sure. And that all that being said, like I think if you look at the top 10 teams, the biggest upset alert is without a doubt Alabama going to Jordan Hare because I mean just the pure fuckery of the Iron Bowl for the past, the past 4 out of 5 trips. to Jordan Hare have just been complete and utter nonsense, and I hate this game. I really am not looking forward to it
I
at
saw that
all.
they announced the quarterback will not be the one that slung it for 6 touchdowns this last week for Auburn. I forgot who they announced it was going to be, but not what you'd expect. But yeah, night game at Jordan Hare.
I have no faith. I mean, they could just trot out the other guy for like the first play, call a timeout, bring the other guy in. I don't know. I don't know. It's
So
I'm
if I'm
getting
looking, I'm
very anxious
definitely
just thinking
thinking
about it.
I
I
think
got these
Ohio.
new spice cider zins.
Yeah,
I told the guy to give me 3 milligrams. He gave me six, and I want to put like the whole tin in, because I am just talking about the game, getting so nervous. So I just, I just, I just know it's gonna be the most frustrating thing ever. It's gonna be so bad. Um, I'm just glad. I'm so thankful it's a night kick. Like, get the kids to bed and just like leave me alone.
yeah.
I might build a Lego set during it because like I don't really want to watch the TV. I'd rather like look at Legos and not have to like see what's happening. I'm very scared. Very, very scared.
There's really some intriguing there's some intriguing games here. So if you're thinking, okay, if we're just going ranking by ranking, so Ohio State has to travel to Michigan, snowy game. I believe the spread's double digits. I would be hesitant because Ohio State has not ran the ball well, and if this plays to what Michigan wants to do, which is
Yeah.
not make Underwood throw the ball. If this was a game where like, Ohio State could get up and then Michigan has to throw their way back into this game, it's done. So I think it's probably the first to like a double digit lead might be, the winning team, because it might be hard for both teams to come back. So you have that. Indiana, I think they're safe. The Spoilermakers can. It's in West Lafayette. It's a night game. They have a big old drum, and they can score some points. But I do think Indiana's okay there. But that's also the Spoilermakers have not spoiled yet. And so when you're thinking of it like that, like I don't know, that could be tricky. Georgia, I probably feel A&M. I think I honestly probably just might end up taking Texas as a biscuit, to be honest with you. 2.5 point dogs at home at night. That's intriguing to me. Georgia, I feel like feels pretty safe. Tech going to West Virginia feels trappy. Going to
It,
Morgantown on
especially
a
because the weather's gonna be shit. It's gonna be cold.
shit day.
Yeah.
Their quarterback's hit or miss, but when he hits Fox, he hits hard. So that's not a gimme, I don't think.
No.
I mean, we know all about the Cascade Clash going to Seattle. Again, there's nothing more than what the Huskies would love to do is to really put Oregon's bid in doubt. So that's an interesting game too. Ole Miss going to Starkville. We just talked about it. Oklahoma, where do they go?
They're at home against LSU.
Okay, that's probably fine, right?
No,
Like
come on.
I
Come
know.
on. Give me something,
Unfortunately, that
dude.
sounds pretty.
Give me something.
That sounds pretty fine.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, where are they? I don't even
At
have.
Stanford.
Okay. What I will say though is
You don't give me anything for LSU, but you're gonna stand up for Stanford and fucking Andrew
the
Luck on this
the
one.
tree has played pretty damn well,
Tree has
man.
played great. Tree has
And
played
you
great.
have to travel west to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Did they have a bye week this week, Notre Dame? That would probably be the only thing where I would be like,
No,
okay,
they beat the Jeremiah
oh, they
Love
beat
had
the
a
shit out of
yeah, I mean
Syracuse.
it was I think 28-0 in the first quarter. I mean,
Oh,
it was 21 nothing before uh Notre Dame's offense scored a I think before they even touched the ball. Like they had like three knots in a row. Hold on.
yeah.
Let me check. I want to because it sounds insane, but I think that was the case. Let me
Man, what
see.
am I missing with that spread? 32 and a half? You sure about that? Especially it's a proper night game. It's a 10:30 kick. Like,
Yeah,
7:30 local. That's
yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't realize this. Second kickoff. Uh Syracuse had a -2 yard run, and then they threw a pick six.
yeah.
And then they had a 1 yard run, -1 yard pass, incompletion. So at this point, they're still -2 yards on offense, and then it was a punt return for a touchdown. So 14 nothing. And then let's see. Then they had 6 plays, and it was another pick six. And then they had 3 and out. So before Notre Dame's offense even touched the ball, it was 21 nothing
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah.
That's that's bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then you have Bama. That 6.5 points. That's interesting. You would expect that to be higher.
Oh,
Like
I'm taking Auburn. No,
if you're just
no.
well, if you're
Vegas
just
knows ball.
looking, well, I was gonna say
Vegas knows ball.
if you're just looking like removed, okay, you have a one
If
in
your
six
blind
team in the
resume, if your
conference.
blind resume of these two teams,
Yes,
then
and you
yes,
have a
that
five
sounds
and six team that's
ridiculous.
fired their coach, has
Yeah.
no like real quarterback. You
If
would
your
say,
blind
yeah,
resume, it's ridiculous. But I am well, I hate to say this, but 6.5, who's giving the points? Is it
Bama's giving it.
Alabama laying the 6.5?
Correct. It's funny. It's weird that they kept that under. They're really, really screaming at you to take Alabama. The fact that they haven't
No.
moved that over
No,
7.
I'm taking I'm gonna bet it right now. No, I'm not. I'm gonna wait and see how the line moves. But
And then you have then the last one. It's like, okay, Miami, that's currently in. I would be inclined to take Pitt at home, and then you look at like, okay, Virginia going to Virginia Tech. Not sure I would love that.
I don't think
And
that's
then you
great.
have SMU having to go to the West Coast against the Calgorithm.
Don't think
It
that's great.
that we could see 3 losses right there and just complete chaos in the. I would love if the ACC didn't get a bid. That would be awesome. But I think I don't know if that's likely to happen. But
I don't think that's possible. I mean, because you'd have to have Miami lose.
you'd need Tulane to win theirs, and then you'd need JMU to somehow get ahead of the ACC team.
You need JMU. Yeah, it just wouldn't be possible at this point.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. It's going to be a pretty crazy weekend. I'm gonna do my. I mean, I guess Friday I'm gonna be able to watch a decent amount of the games. I don't know. We're gonna hang out with my grandma, so I might be able. It's actually a chiller Friday than usual, so I might be able to have some on the background. Then try and watch this. Definitely A&M in Texas at night, and then Saturday. I'm probably going to miss the 12 o'clocks, but I'm likely to make these afternoon games and then definitely the night caps.
we've
So
got an interesting slate coming up, man.
yeah,
Rivalry week last year, for those that forget, I mean, you had flag plantings, you had
oh yeah,
fights, you had
that's right.
it was one for the record books. So how are they going to upstage it this year? It's also funny. There was so much like animosity last year because like any of those schools that were involved, like none of those kids have been there for like all 4 years.
No,
Like,
not
there's
anymore.
a lot of transfer portal
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
They all are ride or
getting in
die
fist fights.
homies. Kind of love it.
Okay. Are you ready to get to the final trophy? I know we've kind of like loved this conversation, trying to get you in a better mood, and as well as like delay having to, talk about this final trophy, but I think it might be time.
Yeah, I had half a bottle of wine and a glass of bourbon, so I'm feeling a little bit better now.
Okay.
So
Let's talk about Paniolo Trophy, which
let's
is a game played between the University of Wyoming and the University of Hawaii. So then
wow. Wow.
my my question to you is, do you know what a Paniolo is?
No.
Thank goodness. So what do you think this trophy could be? because it is very much
So
an
so
image of a Paniolo.
so first off, incredible that we're ending on this. Like
I
I
know.
can't believe that like you could maybe not pick two more like disparate schools to have a rivalry trophy. This is incredible. Um, like even like Vermont and Hawaii, those separated by distance, I think would be a closer match than Wyoming and Hawaii because you have like ranchers, hardcore ranchers, saw the earth people, and then Hawaiians, some of which are probably retirees from Vermont. I don't think anyone from Wyoming ever goes to Hawaii to retire. I think they just stay in Wyoming. I also think back to like before like truth in advertising was a thing. And they have you ever seen these old like ads that were put out of like move to Wyoming or like move to New Mexico or and it's pictures of like palm trees and shit like that and
No,
beaches.
no.
Dude, back in the day, I think this was ninth grade history class, 10th grade with Wetzel. He showed us like these ads he used to put out, like total bullshit, but like move to like Wyoming or North Dakota. It's pictures of fucking palm trees and beaches. And it's like because there's no laws against truth in advertising. So it was just they could just put whatever they wanted. And it's like move on out here. It's great. And then you get there, it's like, what the fuck is this? You know, like there's none of that. It's insane. Um, a Paniolo, kind of an interesting uniform matchup game too, because I love both of their uniforms and brown and yellow and green and black. Like I want to watch this game to see those uniforms on the field. It's probably ugly as shit. Um, Brandon Walker actually
Well,
tweeted out someone had a really
it's
good uniform. Oh, Penn State, Nebraska,
yeah.
great.
After he said, what was the one that he said before that was terrible?
Oh, whatever ungodly shit
Missouri.
Oklahoma had on with
Yeah,
Mizzou. Yeah.
yeah,
I was hoping they'd lose that game just for putting on those god awful uniforms.
yeah.
Um, and just because fuck Oklahoma forever and always. Okay, a Paniolo. I am my honest guess is it's some type of a baked good,
Okay.
like some type of a baked thing, like in a pan. Um, but what I would like it to be is like a ukulele where the base of the
Okay.
ukulele is a cast iron skillet. That's what I want it to be.
You hungry?
No, I mean not at all actually. Uh, for
Feels
baked
like such
good,
like a.
yeah, I am. But
All right. Well, it's a great guess. We're gonna have to see a little bit later on if you're right.
that's a terrible guess. I mean, honestly, if we're
A
being truthful
ukulele?
with ourselves, a ukulele with a cast iron skillet is the base of it. Yeah,
I think there could be worse guesses.
I don't know. We'll find out. With a
So
cast iron skillet at the base, that's a terrible instrument.
no, because what I think of is like the Velveeta cheese commercials where the guy's in the aisle and he's like, oh, what's he say in his the liquid gold ones? Oh shoot.
It's about striking gold
No, he
or gold in them hills.
Velveeta cheese commercial. Where the dude's in the aisle. Okay, hold on. Let me. Oh, that's what it was. He would just be like, so the dude's in the aisle and he has like a fire and he
Yeah,
looks like a frontierman, right?
yeah.
And he
Oh,
has
I'm
like his
aware of
cast
these
iron pot.
commercials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
What
says,
does
"Go
he
on,
say?
get."
Don't
Because
get.
yeah, because the guy's like, you can't be in this aisle. Like, is this an open flame? And he like tosses it, and he's like, here's your payment, deputy. And he's like, you still can't be here. And he says, go on, get.
Get.
So I'm thinking if you that person makes me think of like the frontier, the Western frontier, Wyoming, dudes
Mhm.
just making beans and Velveeta cheese out of cast iron pots. So then you're mixing cast iron with a ukulele.
Yeah,
Obviously, ukulele,
but but it'd be a terrible instrument. I mean, I don't think that would
maybe.
sound good at all.
I
But
don't know.
all right,
Okay,
Paniolo.
snapshot of the rivalry. So the first matchup was in 1978 between these two schools. Hawaii won that 27 to 22, and the series was actually split 5-5 after their first 10 meetings, so pretty even. And as far as like the overall series, Wyoming leads at 17 wins to 11 losses. So the rivalry began in 1978, like I mentioned, when Hawaii joined the Western Athletic Conference and was played annually until 1997, which was when Wyoming departed from the WAC and joined the newly formed Mountain West Conference. And then the rivalry was renewed in 2012 when Hawaii joined the Mountain West as a football only affiliate member. Yeah. So why don't we? This was actually fun because this is we're you guys are really gonna like this, and not that you would ever have to twist anyone's arm to go to these two states, um, but like after doing these small school spotlights, it just makes me want to go to Laradice and Literal Paradise, which you have actually been to,
Yeah,
um, even more. So, actually, once we get to Hawaii, I'd love to hear your thoughts on which island, like which city,
yeah,
and just your overall thoughts. But let's
yeah.
start with Wyoming first. So the University of Wyoming was founded in 1886 in the Wyoming Territory and opened in 1887. So it actually predates Wyoming statehood, which was in 1890. And it is the only four-year university in the state of Wyoming, which sounds crazy, but then when you realize that there's less than a million people in the entire state, I guess that's not
Well, I
too
guess that's not
odd of
too
a thing.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you see a picture, which you were probably very confused at, this first little picture, there is a large copper plated 40-foot tall T Rex sculpture. And
It doesn't throw me too much given in previous episodes we've talked about the Dakotas and their dinosaur schools.
that is
So
true.
it really I was like, okay, makes sense to me. Yeah.
Could you just imagine like doing your visit to the university, never been to Laramie, never been anywhere, and you're just like, yeah, there's just a 45-foot tall T-Rex, just hanging out in front of the old geological museum.
Listen, I know T-Rexes have small arms, but the arms on this T-Rex make, make it look feminine. The
Yeah.
sound of your piss hitting a urinal, it sounds feminine. Like that's what these arms, the vibe that these arms give.
Well, there is a tradition by students and visitors to try and throw a pine cone into the dinosaur's mouth for good luck before exams.
Never change, Wyoming. Never change. That's awesome.
One of the things I feel like both of us know this, it's plastered on the field as well. But just to call this out for everyone else, the university's stadium, the War Memorial Stadium, is one of the, if not the highest elevation stadiums in all of Division One. So they have it very proudly plastered on the field that it is at 7,220 foot elevation.
It's
So
crazy.
definitely gives them a home field advantage for schools having to go up to the elevation.
Hmm.
And Laramie, the city itself, was founded in 1868 as part of the expansion of the Union Pacific Railroad. And the downtown historic district reflects many of those early years in its architecture. And if you want to scroll down to your next picture, they have a very interesting monument. So
Whoa.
it, it's the Ames Monument, which is a 60-foot granite pyramid, which was built by the Union Pacific Railroad at an elevation of about 8,200 feet, which is the highest point along the original transcontinental route.
Damn. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks super out of place. It
Yeah.
looks like yeah, I would not expect that to be there. Yeah, it looks like we'll tell you Machu Picchu. Kinda.
So this was completed in 1882 at a cost of $65,000. So this monolithic 60-foot high granite pyramid, like I said, was built by the Union Pacific Railroad. Let's see here. Trains
What year was
passed
it completed?
in 1882.
For $65,000?
Yes.
Oh man, my guy TJ from local landscaping company,
Yeah.
he get that thing done for about I mean he probably charge you about like I'm thinking like 50 grand in today's dollars, maybe 60 grand today's dollars, and have Versalock in there. Wouldn't go anywhere. That's a bunch of bullshit, dude. They just slapped that thing. Looks like they just slapped it together. 1882 and 65 grand. That's insane. They gouged them on that thing.
Well, trains passed very close to the north side of this monument, where the rail town of Sherman once stood. But in 1901, the railroad route was relocated several miles to the south, leaving this pyramid as a marker of the original route. And the monument serves as a memorial to the Ames brothers of Massachusetts, Oakes and Oliver Ames, whose wealth, influence, talent, and work were key factors in the construction of the first coast to coast railroad in America.
Is that related to the Ames Stadium in Iowa or Ames,
Um,
Iowa?
I don't even know. Um, why don't we take a quick little
Yeah.
Google here? But what's also interesting about this structure is so it is a pyramid, not quite as pointy. And like you said, it's more like
Flat
a
top.
machu.
Flat
Yeah,
top.
like
Yeah.
it's a flat top, doesn't have that point at the top, but it also has faces on it, which is kind of creepy-ish, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely a little creepy. Yeah.
I will say though, if I was going to have like a monument like created for me, I feel like I would be okay with this and with having like a unique structure like that, and then just have like a portrait of myself. I feel like I don't know if it's necessarily a pyramid. Would be my go-to, but I feel like it'd be better than just like a I don't know a standing like statue. Like I feel like it'd be cool to
No,
have
no, you
something
gotta have a
unique.
statue. No.
Yeah.
Pyramid. People look at that what we're doing right now. It's kind of creepy looking. You want a statue. Be on a horse. How
But
many
that's
times you ridden a horse in your life? Doesn't matter. If I get a statue, man, I want to be on a horse.
And you were correct. I'm going to assume this is the same Oaks Ames. That he was a congressman out of Massachusetts, yes, who influenced was influential in the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. So yes, not only does he have a town named after him in Iowa, where the university or Iowa State University resides, but he also has this creepy pyramid out in Laramie, Wyoming.
What kind of money must the Ames family have slash have had? I mean that's
Yeah,
wealth.
yeah,
That's wealth that you can't even. I mean
Rockefeller.
that's generational. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean you're a congressperson in Massachusetts. They're building statues for you in
yeah. In
fucking
the 19th
Wyoming.
century, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what if they pissed it all away? Stock market, collapse in the 20s, just fucking lost it all. That's
But wait, there's more.
yeah.
Go to the
Okay, hit
next
me with it.
picture. Lincoln, there's a Lincoln Monument between
Whoa!
Laramie and Cheyenne, which was commissioned by the state of Wyoming in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The monument marks the highest point of the old Lincoln Highway and was placed here in 1969 when I-80 was completed.
That is gonna haunt my nightmares. That's just the bust of Abe Lincoln on top of rocks. It looks like he's bursting out of it like a Titan in
Yeah.
Attack on Titan. Um, that's terrifying. I don't like that at all. It's extremely unsettling. Yeah, hate that. Hate that. I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't share that.
So the bottom line is try not to drive around lost at night in Laramie or near Laramie because you're bound to be freaked out by these major landmarks.
Laramie may be cursed.
Okay, a little bit about some game day
I
traditions
can't
here.
stop looking at it. I
Yeah,
I
just
I can't stop.
I got something else for you to look at.
Yeah,
Actually,
okay.
listen to,
Please.
watch and listen to, but more importantly, listen to. So the Western Thunder Marching Band, which is the marching band of Wyoming, they have a tradition similar to, say, like a Dixieland Delight, where they perform Ragtime Cowboy Joe during games.
Of
So
course.
why don't you click on that link and listen? Probably don't have to listen to all of it if you don't want to, but just give it a listen. Let us know what you think.
Hey, bad news. I got no link.
What? Did I
Yeah,
delete it again?
I'm linkless.
All right, here. I need to get better at this. I actually did better with keeping the pictures this time around, and I like thought about it like it was very much in the forefront of my mind. So here I put it in the little chit chat here.
Ragtime Broadway Joe.
Mhm.
Here we go. Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
Ragtime.
All right, I'll just let it eat.
For those that are not watching the video, Mike is nodding his head melodically side to side, enjoying himself. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cowboys. Cowboys.
You want to be honest?
Yeah.
It's kind of catchy. It's kind of fuck with that.
There were quite a few words in there that were like a little bit too big to be
that
like
that
chanty.
that's like Lil Wayne. Like that's like the Lil Wayne. When was that song created?
That's a good question. It's an actual song like that. I don't
That's
think
like the 1800s version of like Wheezy dropping a beat. Like that's just that kind of goes hard. I kind of dig on that.
Ragtime Cowboy Joe was a song created 1912.
Yeah. Back in 1912, they're like, hold up, he's spinning right now. Cowboy Joe's spinning.
Yeah.
It's
Grant
kind of
Clark,
catchy.
shout out. He was a lyricist.
I don't hate that. It's better
Uh,
than Ice Cream Sunday, whatever it was.
yeah.
Was that shit?
Had nothing to do with peanut. No, was it peanut butter?
No, it's the people who did Peanut Butter Jelly Time. It was their
Yeah.
smash hit sequel,
Yeah. Yeah, that was not good.
Ice Cream and Cake.
The ice cream and cake. Um,
That's a
uh,
million miles better than Ice Cream and Cake for sure.
a couple more game day traditions. So they have the cannon fire, or what they call Pistol Pete's shot. So after every Wyoming touchdown, a cannon is fired. And then the last one is they have what they call the Gold Rush games. So once a year, they encourage fans to wear all gold. So kind of, a lot of teams have their whiteouts, blackouts, blue outs, red outs, whatever school colors is, and they call theirs the Gold Rush.
I dig it.
All right, on to Hawaii. So why don't we just start here with you telling the story of your, I mean, semi-recent, right? Last year, or I guess the
Yeah,
beginning of this year.
earlier this year. Yeah.
Yeah, trip out to the islands.
Yeah, I mean, I never had any like on the list of places to go. Hawaii was like never that high up for me, but man, after going, like it's just like I get it. I totally understand now, the deal. I mean, you know, we stayed at a resort, right? It was like, very nice, very expensive, everything like that. But like you wheel right over to like the ABC store, and the ABC stores in Hawaii are not like an ABC store here in the States. Like you go to the ABC store there, it's a full gift shop with all the tchotchkes and everything like that. You get some of the best sushi you've ever had in your effing life. And you fire that down with like an 8% like tiki rum punch cut water. And then you wander back over the resort, hit up the pool, get a nice little mudslide in the grotto at the pool area. I mean, it is just like it's amazing, you know. I mean, they really like you can ball on a budget in Hawaii for sure. Like you don't have to stay at the nice resort. You can like I said, head over to the ABC store, have some of the best sushi of your life, get a bunch of good stuff to drink for a reasonable price. Um, it was awesome. I mean, but then like some of the things that like do come, they're like extra costs. Like I mean, went out on a catamaran, just walking along the beach. There's sea turtles chilling, vibing right in the water there. I mean, it's just like it's so like we were in Maui and like the diversity of just that island, like part of it is super arid because they used to have like sugarcane plantations and like they're actually like trying to build up farming and everything like that in that area, which is really cool. If you're like you can be like a resident of Hawaii for like I think it's 2 or 3 years. If like that's your primary residence, you can get like an acre or two to farm
Hmm.
and like it doesn't cost anything. Like it costs nothing to have that land, like to farm it. Like the state subsidizes it as long as you're not selling anything that you make for profit. If it's like to feed yourselves and like you donate it, like free and clear, you
Yeah.
own that land. For like insane, I'm sorry, it does cost something, but like the price is like super reasonable. Um, I mean, it's just it's such a crazy like Maui was oh, and then you have like rainforests on the same island, right? Because of like the amount like when the weather comes in, it all comes in exactly the same, exactly the same time. There's like no nightlife on Maui because like the trade winds pick up by like 8 p.m. It's like impossible to go outside, like because it's not impossible, but it's just so
Right.
windy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Maui was super dope, man. I loved it. I thought it was great. I definitely like got the idea of like why people do what they do, like why people move out there, why people vacation there frequently. It's awesome. I mean, it truly is paradise. It's just the water's just like a different kind of blue. Like it's like a nice deep royal blue into like a navy. It's like clear, crisp, clean. It's also like if you take a minute and think about the fact that you're like on this tiny little speck of land, like smack dab in the middle of the ocean, it
Yeah.
like really trips you out there for a little bit. Um, but no, it's dope. I love Hawaii. It's fantastic. I want to go back. It was such a fun time.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I was looking at, oh, I see. Okay. So I was just looking at the different islands. So you were on Maui is the name of the island as well,
Hmm.
correct? Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because that can be kind of confusing. So for instance, there is the Big Island, which is
Yeah.
usually how people refer to the
Yeah.
island
The
of
Big
Hawaii.
Island, yeah, and the Big Island from what I hear is like very like people in Maui refer to the Big Island as being like very because there's parts of Maui that are pretty like tourist trappy.
Yeah.
Like the Big Island, people refer to that as like a city, right? Like it's pretty like it's just like one bit. It's super congested. Um, there's not like a great way to get away, I guess, and stuff like that. But like Maui and like Kauai are like the two islands that are like very much like more like relaxed. Like, yeah, there obviously is a massive like resort presence and like there are some tourist trap spots, but like there's a lot of people that live on those islands that like still kind of do things the old way. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that like, are into farming and stuff like that and like into like preservation. Uh it's just wild, man. Like the biodiversity is insane. Um yeah, it's just a great spot, dude. It's a great spot. I love Hawaii.
Well, the University of Hawaii is located in Honolulu, so the capital, which
Hmm.
is located on Oahu, the island of Oahu. And the University of Hawaii is also, considered or named the University of Hawaii Manawa is um, what is referred to, and it is globally recognized for revival of the Hawaiian language. It also has Pacific Island studies. So obviously, there's a lot to do with the islands. Eventually, are going to sink, and there's a potential, right, like how islands are created with undersea volcanoes that pop up and push rock up to create the island. So there's a lot to study there. And then they also known for volcanology, which obviously is the study of volcanoes, oceanography, and astronomy, which also makes sense because I bet you there's some pretty cool night skies, especially if you're
Yes.
away from a bigger city like Honolulu, which is probably one of the only places where you really get some um, light pollution there. And it also hosts the Hawaii Institute of Geophysics and Planetology, or as South Park would say, planetology, and has ties to the world famous Mauna Kea observatories, which obviously has to do with space as well, and planets. So the campus is in a rainforest valley. Shocker, obviously, as you described, the island of Maui. It is very similar. So it sits in the lush Manoa Valley, which receives frequent rainbows, which has led to the nickname the Rainbow Warriors. It is also the only place. So Honolulu is home to the I'm gonna butcher some of these Hawaiian names, so please forgive me. But it is home to the Oilani Palace, which is the only royal palace in the United States. So it is it's a former royal palace, of
Hmm.
course.
Hmm.
But the residents of the Hawaiian monarchy lived there until 1893. Then it is also famous, so less than 3 miles away from the university is the beach of Waikiki, which is a very, very famous beach. I think Nicki Minaj has sang about
Yeah, that's right.
said beach.
That's right.
Um, and that was initially it was it was the royal family's vacation and surfing area. And then obviously now it has been expanded and probably is a pretty big touristy beach, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a little bit of tradition, game day traditions. The team, so before the games, the players perform the haka, which is a very cool Polynesian and Hawaiian war chant, which I feel like would be a pretty like cool thing to see. You always see, what is it, New Zealand's rugby team? Is that what's
Yeah.
pretty famous? That gets,
All of the New
recognized.
Zealand national. I mean, the rugby
Yeah,
team gets the most, but
yeah.
like the basketball team does, the All Blacks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And then they also, I probably nixed this hyperlink too. Let me send you this. They also, before each game, sing, the entire stadium sings the Hawaii uh, Panoi, which is their state anthem. And this was written by King Kalakua in 1874. So I dropped that into the chat if you want to let us know what you think of the state anthem.
Oh my. Oh my. When did they sing this?
uh, Before kickoff. So you have like, I don't know if it's the order, if it's the haka and then this. I would imagine it's probably the anthem then the haka to really get you going.
Right.
That's at least that's the
Right.
order I would do.
All right, I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
I get the vibe. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it's a little sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like like a World Cup game, right? Your national anthem, right? It's to that same it has that same vibe to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where it's not like overly energetic for a lack of better terms, but yeah, obviously you take a lot of pride in either your nation's anthem, and I think it's kind of cool that they have that state anthem, right? It's kind of unique. And this one's not an official tradition, but they have what is called the Manoa Mist. So a warm, sudden rainfall that can sweep over the stadium, especially at night. Longtime fans joke that it's the valley blessings of the Rainbow Warriors. And again, because of this mist, um, there are frequent rainbows at the stadium itself too. So that again kind of just further solidifies that nickname. And then they also have the post game tradition where after the game, win or lose, the players and the coaches walk over to the student section. They thank the fans, they exchange some shaka bras, and they also sing the alma mater or the state anthem with the crowd. All right, Mike, it's time. Scroll, tell us what you see. What is this trophy?
Oh,
And this will likely illuminate to you what a paniolo is.
okay. So is Paniolo just calf roping?
It is the Hawaiian name for cowboy.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? One thing I didn't mention is that when we were driving out to a hike in the rainforest in Maui, and our guide was telling us that like there is a town like because whole Maui there's like a couple of big mountains like there's the road to Hana in Maui, right? Um, and like halfway up the mountain is like a cowboy town. Like it's they said it's like straight out of like the Midwest, like or the West, right? The old West, right? Like it is definitely a full-on cowboy town. And there's people with like shit kickers and trucks, like all that stuff that like live cowboy life out there. And this trophy, it's kind of sick. It's it's a pretty long rectangular wooden base with plaques on it. There's a big plaque that says the Paniolo Trophy, and then I'm sure it talks about like the history of the trophy and stuff like that. It's probably like what, like foot and a half, 2 feet long, something like that. And then there's on top of that wooden base, there's like almost like a wooden door stopper, and then there's like a bronze two bronze sculptures, and one is of a cowboy on his horse with a big lasso, and he's trying to lasso a bronze bull. Uh, kind of sick. Kind of sick, man. Yeah, this is nice. This is very cool.
So this information that I'm about to read comes from both. So it's a mix of the Hawaii's website as well as a site called Kevin's Commentary, which it was on like a this. He is that's like the name of the blog that was more on like just I don't even know what you would call it, like a Wix page. I forgot what that technically is. Website host, I guess. But this is on behalf of like Kevin's commentary is on behalf of like the whole Wyoming side of telling the story. Um, so the this trophy is named after the Hawaiian word for cowboy, and this was donated in 1979 by the Wyoming Paniolo Society, which is a group of Hawaiian residents with roots in Wyoming, in an effort to strengthen the bond of friendship between the two institutions. The trophy was awarded annually from 1979 to 1997, when both teams were members of the Western Athletic Conference. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, the series was interrupted when Wyoming moved to the Mountain West. But when Hawaii joined in 2012, talks between the two schools began about renewing this rivalry trophy, but no one could find it.
Oh,
It was lost to time. But A replacement was donated by Dr. Billy Burgeon, Regent Emeritus at the University of Hawaii. And with the help of the Paniolo Preservation Society, a group that celebrates Hawaiian ranching industry, and is headed by Patricia Burgeon, the new bronze trophy, which features Hawaiian cowboy Akua Purdy roping a wild stag bull. And Purdy was the first Hawaiian inducted into the National Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame. So if you look at that second picture that's on there, you'll
Yeah.
notice like the cowboy is a bit different than the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
one.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This is because the trophy is a reproduction of the larger work, which was created by the Western artist and sculptor Fred Fellows, who was located at the Parker Ranch in Waimea, Hawaii. And as you had mentioned, the trophy is approximately 12 inches high and 20 inches long, mounted on a sloping slab of walnut wood, if you were wondering. But the original trophy is that black and white picture, and it was just supposed to, depict a Paniolo cowboy. And so they had to, because they lost the trophy when they were creating the new one in 2012, they had to create it based on old pictures. And so when they decided to then create the cowboy, they opted to do it in the likeness of that Akia Purdy. So that's why it's more of like an action shot than in him leaning forward. And that's why it's a smidge different than the original.
Got it. I was gonna bring that up. I was like, maybe, oh, good. Okay. I was like, maybe
And then
she's gonna listen to
engraved,
this.
as you had mentioned, are the scores of each game in the series and the inscription, which reads originated during the 1979 football season when a group of Hawaiian residents with roots in Wyoming created a traveling prize to be presented to the winner of the Wyoming Hawaii football game. It was originated to strengthen the bonds of friendship between these two universities. Paniolo is the Hawaiian term for cowboy. The two institutions thank the Paniolo Preservation Society for donating this uh, beautiful bronze featuring Hawaiian cowboy Akua Purdy. So that's what that
Love it.
larger plaque.
That's pretty sick. I'm glad that's like that's a super logical connection between the two schools that like most people would not even think to make that. Like,
No,
like I totally forgot. Yes, there are
yeah,
ranchers in
yeah.
Hawaii, you know?
You thought pastry, and you were even aware of the ranching in Hawaii, which
That's
again, like you
right.
said, no one would ever think of. When you started to talk about ranching with Wyoming, I'm like, is this son of a bitch gonna guess this? Is he, because you guessed the one a few weeks ago. And I was like, son of a bitch, is he really gonna pull this out of his ass? But no.
No, no, not quite.
And that's all I have for us. That was so it's not necessarily a rivalry filled with vitriol or anything, but I
Well,
do
they
think
even said it's
it's
based on friendship, so
right. And
yeah,
it's pretty cool that it's been around so long and that they felt the need to create another one after the original one
yeah,
was lost.
yeah. I love
Um,
that. I love that.
So this game will be played this Saturday on Rivalry Week at 11 p.m. and it is on in Paradise, not Laradice, on the island. And currently Hawaii is 7.5 point favorites.
Well, good luck with everyone passing taking the Hawaii test. I hope you pass. And yeah, let's finish out this football season strong.
Yes. All right. That's going to do it for us this week. Follow us on Instagram at whiskers.whiskeys, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join us next week for our championship week breakdown preview, where we will talk all things championship week. So for Mike, I'm EJ. Always remember, too much of anything is bad, but too much good whiskey is barely enough.
Cheers, boys.